I'm currently a professor of business, international business in Universidad de Ann. I'd like to thank Sebastián and Profesora Maria Gabriela for the invitation. And how many of you got a cell phone in your hand? Okay, I think most of you got a cell phone in your pocket or, right? How many of you got something called a QR code reader? QR code. How many of you have heard what is a QR code? Could you explain? Do you know what it's like?
It's like a special barcode that you use, for example, to download some applications. You want to interact with a company or something.
To scan, exactly. Okay. I really like the flyer that you put together because it's like Darth Vader and the stormtroopers. Even though I work as a professor, I'm not going to ask you to put your phone away. Keep your phone in your hand because you will need it. There's some QR codes that you will be shown in the presentation, and I want you to scan them so you can keep the information. Okay? Okay, let's start with something. Part of this is some research that I have worked with Profesora Maria Gabriela, and it's about technology and labor markets. There's been like 100 years of research in which people have noticed how innovation and technological change displace labor. In the past, 150 years ago, most people used to work in agriculture, right? Not today. You know, there's been some technological innovations, and in the past, maybe 85% of the population used to work in a field, plowing, sowing, harvesting, picking up the fruits or whatever they are, cultivating. Not anymore. You know, there's a transition from agriculture to manufacture, to the service sector. Actually, we're part of the service sector, right? And very few people in our country and in the rest of the planet work in agriculture. So that's the first slide I want to show. This is, maybe you recognize this picture. What is the original? Have you seen it? It's kind of famous. A couple of farmers, a woman and a man, you know, holding, how do you call it, like a fork, right? But what's going on? Technology is changing how people work. Technology is changing how we work. And that's what I want to tell you. Because most of you are currently students of undergraduate program, economics, business, or management, and you need to, don't focus on the present. You need to be keeping your sight on the next 20, 25, 50 years, because this is happening. And I want to show you some pictures in which, how many of you like old movies and popular culture? You're going to recognize some of the pictures I'm going to show you, and how what we used to think used to be science fiction. Now it's a fact, okay? So currently the debate is how technology is going to affect jobs. So the next slide, let's see. This is popular culture. Have you seen these movies? Metropolis, Fritz Lang, 1920-something, really close to the Great Depression. Economic debacle, everything went down, and there's a robot in there. Science fiction. How many of you recognize Rosie? Rosie the robot, Robotina, right? The Jetsons in English, yeah, Supersónicos. But this is what we had in popular culture. But let me show you something. This is a Roomba. How many of you have seen this machine? Having a robot cleaning your house is not science fiction anymore. You can buy a Roomba for a certain amount of dollars, and they can clean any space you want automatically. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to do anything about it. So we're having something that came from popular culture, but now we have a reality, a product, a best-selling product. Second example. You recognize this? Yeah. How many of you, okay, let's have a quick show of hands. How many of you were born in the 1990s? 91, 92, 95, 99, 2000. I need to know. Let me tell you, this is very interesting because being a professor has taught me that we have a generational gap. You know, we need to connect with young people. We need to connect with young minds, telling a better story. That's why I'm not telling you to keep your phones away. You need to keep it in your hand. This is a tool. You need it. This guy, you recognize him? Yeah, amazing movie. First movie in the 1980s that showed a killer robot. Cool. You recognize this? It's a cute robot. Wall-E. Yeah, robots can be cute. And girlfriend, Eva. Yeah, cute. This was the imagination in popular culture. But let me show you something. I have a video. How many of you have heard of the company Boston Dynamics? Boston Dynamics, good. What do they do?
They make robots, autonomous robots, and they are a division from Alphabet, that's the parent company from Google.
Excellent. Alphabet, that is the parent company, as you said, of Google, now owns several robotics companies. Google, they do not have your data, your Gmail, your drives, Android phones, or whatever. They now are working heavily on robotics and artificial intelligence. Companies understand the value of technology. You need to know that technology creates a lot of value. What are you doing to learn new business models? In Universidad de Ann, we talk about entrepreneurship, creating companies. But I'm a little bit disappointed because most companies that our students are creating are so basic. Sorry to say. Most companies are like, I want to export, let's say what? Avocado, green gold. It's part of the presidential debate nowadays. Well, this is pretty basic. Most technologies are ignored in Colombia. How many of you are thinking about apps? How many of you are thinking about platforms? How many of you are thinking about algorithms, artificial intelligence, autonomous cars, the internet? Entrepreneurship in Colombia is so basic, and that's our fault. Because nowadays, being an entrepreneur is a basic proposition for every university. I think you have the same ideas here. How to create value through company creation. Let me show you the video from Boston Dynamics. It's pretty awesome. Okay, how I do this. Okay, so remember what I showed you before? In the 1980s, we had Terminator. That was our idea of a robot, something that kills us. But also we had some newer version, cute robot. But this is what Boston Dynamics, what they're working right now. How many of you know what is a backflip? A backflip. Jumping backwards. How many of you can do a backflip? Not me. What I'm going to show you is a real robot doing a backflip. This is supposed to have sound, okay? You like failing robots, right? Huh. Why I'm showing you this? Technology is evolving real fast, and you are not aware of it, and that's a big problem for us. Technology is diffusing real fast. Code, computer code, you can get code from other countries. You can ask people in other places where labor is cheaper to create apps for you. You really need to think about technology be the core of your business model. If you're not thinking about technology, you're losing this game. But if you need technology, you definitely need education. And that's part of the message. I have a strong belief. What is the most profitable business in the world? Don't tell me cocaine. That's illegal, wrong. What is the most profitable business in the planet? Internet, software, social networks, data mining, coding. I'm gonna make it one word. Science. Science creates patents. Patents create products and services. Science is the most amazing business there are. Companies are creating science. Companies create patents. Let me tell you something, this is really amazing. Companies now are working on something called CRISPR. CRISPR is something to edit DNA. Wow, this is mind-blowing. Now we are trying to work with plants and working with animals. And that's huge business. Who owns these patents? Different universities in the United States and Europe. Recently, I think you have heard the news, Bayer, this pharmaceutical company from Germany, is trying to buy Monsanto from the United States. What are they buying? Science, patents. Science is the most profitable business there is. Think about it. Most things you have today, all this is part of science. Electricity, the internet, science. We need to invest in science. What is the investment of Colombia in science and technology as percentage of the GDP? 0.2, 0.24. Low. There's a lot of money going somewhere else, not in research, not in development. We need to fund science. Science creates value. Science creates amazing companies. Let me tell you, Apple, Google, Facebook, Tesla, all these companies are not the product of just the private sector. They're part of the state. It's funny. I'm not advocating for state capitalism, but there's definitely a strong position of the state in creating this value, in funding research. It's key. If you see the most innovative countries in the world, they have an active entrepreneurial state. Government funds funding to different initiatives. We don't have it. And if we have it, it's too little. And most of the government initiatives that are going to entrepreneurship are going to export pineapple juice. Or, I love coffee. I drink coffee all day. But coffee is a commodity. No, but my coffee is premium. My coffee is organic. My coffee is from a microlote in Chinauta. Is that real innovation? We need science. We need tostado. Which bread is not even baked, or it's baked, but is the flour and everything is imported. That's sad. Next slide. You're gonna like this. You really like falling robots, huh? You really like when robots fail. This is the same. This is the same company, Boston Dynamics. Let me tell you, Google is investing a lot of money in robotics. How many robotics companies are in Colombia? How many apps there are in Colombia? How many startups are creating so much value so fast? Any ideas? I don't have any name in my mind. Science is the best business there is. Think about it. You are in a university. This is where science is supposed to be created, cooked. You need to think about patents. You need to think about how to work with different departments, biology, chemistry, material science. This is how business and real value is created. Let's move on a little bit. Let's go back to popular culture. You recognize this guy, huh? What's his name? Bender Rodriguez. I'm not joking. Bender Bending Rodriguez. Probably made in Mexico. In Tijuana, even better. Sin City, south of the border. Welcome to Tijuana. Do you know the song? Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Tijuana. Bender is a very interesting example of how a humanoid robot looks like. And we have this cutie. Do you recognize it? What's the name? BB-8. You're so millennial. Yeah. This is how you connect with young people, through popular culture. This is how you need to teach. Ask people to think about these realities and show how they connect to real facts, like things that are happening. This is what popular culture shows us. Bender Bending Rodriguez. How many of you recognize this humanoid artificial intelligence robot? Her name is Sophia. She's so famous. She's been awarded citizenship in Saudi Arabia. Consider the implications of this dangerous idea. A robot who is a citizen. This is absolutely true. Check the news. Take out your phone. What is this guy talking about? Bender, it's a nice idea. But Sophia is happening. It's a fact. And they can have a conversation with you. Have you heard? Have you heard this? She was talking in the World Economic Forum. A robot. I want to talk in the World Economic Forum. But I'm not there. Sophia is now a citizen of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And this needs to make us think. What are we doing in Colombia? What are we doing in our universities to create this kind of value? How many companies in Colombia, how many university students are working on startups, working in this direction? I want you to be completely in love with technology. But there's a caveat. Technology is not neutral. Technology can also destroy jobs. And this is the next part of the presentation. One more. How many of you were born in the 1980s? Where are the professors? Sebastian too. Absolutely. Do you recognize this car? Yeah. El Auto Fantástico was the name of this show in Colombia. I saw it when I was a kid. In English, the name of this show was Knight Rider. And the name of the car. What is the name of the car? Kit. Kit. Amazing. K-I-T-T. This is an amazing car because this car, you know, the actor, the main character was David Hasselhoff, and he just called the car like, "Kid, pick me up," in the back of the hotel. This, in my early childhood, was science fiction. I wanted to grow up to have this kind of car. But now, it's no science fiction anymore. Companies are working on autonomous vehicles. Companies like Volkswagen. Companies like Tesla. Companies like Waymo. Have you heard of Waymo? Take notes. Waymo is a company, is a subsidiary of Alphabet. If you see, Google is investing a lot of money in technologies that are going to disrupt our lives. What are we doing about it? How many autonomous cars are we working here in Colombia? How many autonomous? I have a radical idea right here. Companies have, well, let's talk about universities. Universities have budgets, some money. What if this university buys an autonomous car and start working in a process called reverse engineering? Ingeniería inversa. Take an innovation, let's find out. How does it work? How much is an autonomous car? How much is a Tesla? Any ideas? Quick search, take out your phone, somebody. How much is a Tesla? Come on, I want a number. How much is the best Tesla there is? $50,000? 100, too much. I think it's too much. 50,000, come on, we need a, it's close, I think. Come on, I need your help. That's what I want your phones. 80,000, okay, 80,000. How much is that in Colombian pesos? 80,000 times 3,000, it's like 250 million. Pocket money for Politécnico. I have a, really, think about this. What if this university decides to work reverse engineering an autonomous car? How many of the students of Politécnico are going to factories in China, figuring out what are the parts, components, and things that we need to create an autonomous car? These are radical ideas, but we need to incorporate technology into our day-to-day. This is, listen, this was my dream car as a kid. Really. How many people work driving a car? Come on. What professions? How many people, or what kind of people work driving a car? Bus drivers, taxi drivers, truck, Maybe you know that around 85% of the cargo transported in Colombia, it's done by truck. 85%. Well, imagine these cars going to Túnel de la Línea. In the future, when the government and when our leaders decide to finish it, eventually, in 2050, technology is going to change how people work. This is a fact. Have you heard of McKinsey? McKinsey and Company. How many of you study business? Okay, let's see. How many study business? How many of you study economics? Fewer economics. How many of you study business administration? No? And the rest? What? Business? Management? Okay. Engineering? Lovely. Engineers are very interesting. Really? We need engineers because technology requires heavy engineering. People working in labs. McKinsey is one of the leading consulting companies in the world, and they have identified some technologies that are considered disruptive. I have a few, I want to name them. Basically, artificial intelligence. Have you heard of that? Artificial intelligence has something really interesting called the, what is the name of this? Do you remember the name of the guy who broke the Enigma code? Turing. Alan Turing, yes. There is a test called the Turing test. This test shows if there is artificial intelligence or not. What is the test? There's a human and there is a machine, and the human does not recognize if they're talking to a machine. Cool. Doesn't say anything to you, right? But a couple of months ago, we had something called El Mes de los Amigos. Poker, yeah, your favorite beer. Maybe. They created something really cool. How many of you open a poker in March? I did. Did you? Under the cap, there was something. What was it? A number. And what was it? What was the idea? That's a very interesting idea. El mes de los amigos. And under every cap, there was a number, 350, 6 point, blah, blah, whatever number, and you add it. And like, hi. Some of you, because I asked my students at Universidad de Ann, how many of you chatted with this machine? What? A machine? I thought it was a beautiful girl. No, it wasn't. Chatbots are a reality. And some people do not recognize the difference between a chatbot and a real person. The Turing test is kind of happening. How do we recognize how do we recognize a robot from something human? That's an interesting idea. The Internet of Things. Have you heard of this concept? Yeah, everything is connected. Everything is connected. The refrigerator, the coffee maker, the doorbell, how I control the temperature. Everything is I can open the door with my phone remotely. Everything is connected. That's an amazing idea, but it's also a dangerous idea. I guess you have heard about hackers. Everything connected could be a pain. Yeah, somewhere. Painful. Not a good idea. We need to come at peace with technology because technology opens a great opportunity, but it's also posed with risks, like cybersecurity. Think about it. Advanced robotics, cloud services. We love the cloud. We have everything on the cloud. We have phones on our pockets because there's cloud computing working on it. Yeah. In your phone, there's more information that you could ever imagine because maybe your phone is what, like 8 giga, 16 giga, depends. But you have Google Drive, but you have Dropbox, but you have a lot of services that exceed this capacity, accessible through high-speed internet. Amazing. Autonomous vehicles. I really want that a university in Colombia import an autonomous car, and I want a group of students doing reverse engineering to it. Possible? I would love to be rich. What is this Iron Man's name? What is the name? Stark. When I was a kid, that was my hero. Tony Stark. He's not Batman, he's not Superman. He's a technology guy. It's fun. How many of you have heard of 3D printing? 3D printing? No? What can you print? Basically anything. Imagine that you can print a liver, an ear, something that I need to live. It's happening now. What is the impact of 3D printing in logistics? What is the impact of 3D printing in international trade, in commerce? Do I need to wait 40 days for the container to come from Shanghai to Puerto de Buenaventura, or I download the file from the internet and start printing right away? Yes or no? How many of you are working on this? No los estoy increpando. On the contrary, work on technology. This is how real value is created. Other technologies, well, we go to that. Now, the sad part, we really like pop culture, we like robots, and we like how technology is making our lives easier. But technology has an ugly side. And that ugly side is that technology can make people unemployed. It's happening. Some jobs are not going to be regained. Okay, technology is transforming how we work today. Yes or no? It's happening. How we create value. It's happening. How we pick employees. I recently read some news saying that human resources now are scanning, using artificial intelligence, Facebook profiles of applicants, LinkedIn profiles. They're creating databases with metrics, with indicators, how to select the right applicant for the job. It's not a human, it's a robot. How news, this is cool. Do you like the news? I read news I read news constantly, and I read financial news. And there's a company called CNBC. It's an American company, and they publish financial news. Some of these news are not created by journalists. They're created by automated machines. What are they going to do? Journalists are going to lose their jobs. Truck drivers are going to lose their jobs. I'm going to say something that maybe you don't like, but professors, we're going to lose our jobs. What are we going to do? Jobs are important. Why jobs are important? Jobs are meaningful. Jobs are not only for the money. It's for the money most of the times, but Yeah, but there's more things. Jobs define people. Jobs create a sociological concept of value. I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm an engineer, I'm this or that. What if your profession is no longer needed by the economy? How securities are traded. This is really cool. Some of my students really want to be traders. Some of my students like, could you please teach me or can you help me pick a stock? Like, sorry, man. Your job has been automated. It's a fact. Most of the most advanced stock exchanges in the world are not traded by humans, are traded by computers, super fast. The name of this technology is high-frequency trading. How many of you have heard about this term? High-frequency trading. How many in Colombia are working in these technologies? Not many. Papaya. Business opportunity. Yes or no? Technology is papaya. Think about it. It requires heavy investments. I know. It requires heavy investments in knowledge. It requires heavy investments in patents, in license, in knowledge. But hey, if we have an amazing idea, why not bring it? How many of you have heard of this word, Luddite? Kind of weird. Luddite, definition: a person opposed to increased industrialization or new technology. Fighting technology is nothing new. You know, the first industrial revolution, the steam engine, the creation of, I don't know, the spinning jenny, right? Creating textiles in England. People has opposed technology since long time. Maybe we need to start thinking how new workers need to deal with these technologies. How many of you, economists, where are the economists? How many of you, economists? Oh, I lost you. Economists, yeah, wake up. How many of you have heard of this good-looking man? Very good-looking, European. Schumpeter. Nope. Joseph Schumpeter was a very interesting economist because he developed a concept that is so interesting. They talk about creative destruction. And basically, this is an idea from the 1940s. 80 years ago, they were talking about creative destruction. But maybe creative destruction doesn't ring a bell to you. Let me give you some examples. More than social media. These are companies, new companies, that destroyed old companies. What is this? Aye, you love it, yeah. Time after time, go for it. Addicted. Stop wasting your time on social media. Start creating value. Consumption of technology is different than creation of technology. And most people love Facebook, and most people love Instagram, and most people love Snap, and Tumblr, and whatever. Pinterest. And we spend hours a day just browsing this. That doesn't create value. This is digital photography. What I like to talk about this, maybe you have heard of the company Kodak. Kodak. It's broke, bankrupt, no longer exists. They filed for bankruptcy in 2012. They had the patent for digital photography. They created digital photography, but they didn't expect digital photography to be in every people's pocket. Smartphones has changed a lot of things. They have changed everything. In the past, how many of you have albums at home? It's funny. Everybody has albums at home. Everybody. And in the past, I have a little anecdote about this, because when I was 5 years old, I took a selfie. Really. I didn't know that the concept was that, but what I did, my father had a camera, a Kodak camera, and I took the camera and I felt a flash in my eyes. My dad was so angry. What did you do? I just spent one expensive exposure of film. Because photography, analog photography, is expensive, because you need the film, and after the film, you need to, how do you call it, develop it, and photography quality paper is kind of expensive. My father was so mad, like, what did you do? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I didn't know the concept selfie then. But now, how many selfies people take every day? Because when you think about analog is expensive. Digital has a zero marginal cost. What is a marginal cost? Economist, what is a marginal cost? Come on. Costo marginal, cero. What is a marginal cost? I can try to explain. Marginal cost means that an additional unit, it's expensive. Kinda. But when you have digital, how many copies can I create? How much does it cost? If I want to take one picture analog, every single picture was expensive. When now we have digital photography, we have zero marginal cost. How many of you you know what? Take a selfie right now. Do you need evidence that you were here? No? Come on. Do it. Somebody. Yeah. Selfie, come on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, somebody up there. Way back. Take the whole class. Take the whole class. How much did it cost? How much? Zero. When you go digital, you have zero marginal cost. How many copies can you make? How many? Each copy is going to be an additional cost? No. Zero marginal cost. When you go digital, costs go to zero. Next example. Oops. How many of you have taken this? You like it? Yeah, everybody loves it. This company is disrupting taxis. In Colombia and in Bogota, taxis have an entry barrier called cupo. Right? Not Uber. If I have a car, kind of nice, I can be a cabbie, I can be a taxi driver without having a yellow car. This is why taxi drivers hate Uber, because they're killing their business model. Airbnb, you know this? Let's look, what is the business model of Airbnb? Hotels hate Airbnb. Hotels are required, in Colombia, hotels are required to be part of the Registro Nacional de Turismo. If I have a property, if I have an apartment, a house, and a spare bedroom, or a couch, or a sofa, or a sleeping bag in a terrace, I can rent it. I can rent it. Who is losing money here? big business, big hotels, and they're giving power to the people. Digital is kind of cool. Facebook. Do you have Facebook? Who hasn't? But Facebook now is part of a scandal. Cambridge Analytica. And if you're aware of the news, what they're doing is using your information for profit. Selling the information. How much do you pay for Facebook? 0. How much do you pay for Gmail? How much do you pay for Hotmail? How much do you pay for Instagram, for Tumblr, for all these social media? You know what they say? If they are not charging you, then you are the product. You're giving away the most intimate thoughts. Every like, every picture, I really find interesting when people go to, they go to any restaurant and they choose brownie and what goes with brownie, and yeah, milkshake, and they take a picture of it. That creates a story of you. That creates a profile. It can tell where you were, the location, the price range, what kind of customer are you? Si no les están cobrando, ustedes son el producto. Uf. En español. Lo mismo pasa cuando uno va a uno de los bares del 85. A los hombres, cover de 20,000. Uf, let's not go there. Netflix. Netflix. Do you like Netflix? La Casa de Papel? Ah, yeah, something that we connect. Netflix is killing. Netflix has created so much value. In 2002, one stock of Netflix was $1.25. Today, one stock, one share of Netflix is $330. If I could go back in time and just buy $1,000 of Netflix stock, I would have my Tesla car. Maybe. What business is disrupting Netflix? Cinema? HBO, TV, big studios, Disney. Disney hates Netflix. Really? Netflix are so smart because they're creating their own content. They're not depending on others anymore. They're creating their own stories. Any kind of stories. Funny stories, bad stories, sad stories. You name it. Tercera temporada de La Casa de Papel. Netflix production. Original. Stranger Things. The end of the world. Yes or not? I cannot say because I've been recorded, but you know. Alibaba. How many of you know Alibaba? Have you used Alibaba? Amazing. Chinese. Let me tell you something, another radical idea. You want to know technology, go to China. China has 900 million internet users. They have something like WhatsApp, well, equivalent, messaging. And through this messaging app, you can do payments. You can send money. What's the most amazing thing you can do in WhatsApp? Emoticon? Yeah? GIF? What if you can send money? You recognize this guy? Who is the guy? Come on, I want a name. Andrea Bocelli. And he's blind. there's a robot conducting an orchestra. People used to think that robots only destroyed easy jobs, easy tasks. You think conducting is easy? It's something creative. Robots are disrupting everything. This is the bad side, well, the bad side or the reality of the technology. Technology is fun. Everybody loves everybody loves the apps. I think I need some water. Yeah, please. Love. Okay. Almost time to go. I can share this to you because we have to move real fast. This is about creative destructions. There are several studies in which companies are thinking how many jobs are created and how many are destroyed. I'm going to do this really fast. People are predicting huge job losses. Here, these are jobs destroyed. Here are jobs created. What if this becomes true? What are we going to do? What's going to be our profession? How are we going to make a living? How are we going to earn a salary? Have you thought about it? QR code? Do you want it? Come on, quick. Take out your phone. Open the QR code app. Come on. You have it. Who got it? You got it? It's the whole list of papers that discuss creative destruction. Can I move it? Yeah? Okay, let's move on. I'm going to show you quickly. 1995, these are the most innovative internet companies in the world. 20 years later, they have disappeared. They're not the same. The only that remains is Apple. In 20 years, business changed real fast. Business environment changed, creative destruction. Kodak existed, no longer existed. People used to love having cable TV. We don't need cable TV anymore. We have Netflix, or Hulu, or HBO Go, or whatever. Creating creative destruction. Technology creates new markets, new products, new services, but destroy others. I'm not gonna say the name of the company. Oh, yeah, also helps. Thank you. How many of you know that there is an app for buying movie theater tickets? I'm not going to say the name of the company because they're not paying me, but I think you know what I'm talking about. This is an amazing innovation because I love movies. I really love watching movies. But in the past, if I wanted to go to the movie, I had to go to the ticket. Yeah? There's a person, young usually, and I have to pay money, and they give me the entrance. Only in business hours. If I have the app, I can buy the movie ticket anytime. And we're saving a lot of money in the salary of the person. And we're saving a lot of money in printing the paper of the ticket. Oh my God. We have in Colombia, DIAN. Do you know DIAN? They're thinking about something called facturación electrónica. Amazing idea. Printing facturación, terrible for the environment. All this paper going to waste because you only need the receipt and you pay it and you throw it away. Absolutely useless. When you go digital, everything goes cheaper. Digital has a zero marginal cost or near zero marginal cost. Unicorn. How many of you know this? We're going really quick. What is a unicorn? A horse with a horn. Excellent. Second definition. A unicorn is a startup company valued at more than $1 billion, typically in the software or technology sector. How many unicorns do you know from Colombia? Not many. These are unicorns. In the past, a typical Fortune 500 company took 20 years to reach $1 billion valuation. Google did it in 8 years. Facebook did it in 5 years. Tesla did it in 4. Uber did it in 2. WhatsApp, Snapchat, and Oculus Rift. How to create value, amazing amount of value, real fast. Technology. Technology is the way. You want to know the unicorn? Here is a list of unicorns globally. First unicorn, Uber. Second, Didi Chongqing. Have you heard of that? Go to China. It's Chinese Uber. Really. And the second, what is that? Xiaomi. Have you heard of Xiaomi? Phone company. Amazing business model. Greater than Apple. Market leader in China. China has the largest mobile phone market in the planet. They have a lot of people. And they're the market leaders. What do we know about Xiaomi? Near zero. Scan this, because with this, you will see the whole list. There are 237 unicorns in the planet. What is the valuation? $812 billion. How big is that? That's the GDP of a large country like Indonesia. Think about it. Scan this, you will see the whole list. How many unicorns in Colombia? How many of you see unicorns? That's a different question, huh? Rappi, Airbnb, Deliveroo, Etsy, Uber. Good and bad, because good, we love Rappi. But the people who work for Rappi or Deliveroo or Uber, they're not employees. They don't have social security. If they get, they're freelancers, they're agents, contractors. If they get sick, paila. Really? How do you say paila in English? Frying pan. Sorry. Chiste de Hassam, lo siento. Big question. Are we inventing ourselves out of jobs? Maybe. I really recommend you to watch this short documentary. We are creating robots that are going to make us unemployed. And the big question is, what are we going to do after? I have a job. And I'm going to ask you really something really that you don't like. Do you have a job? Are you going to create a job? Or are you going to be unemployed by technology? Young people, you're in your 20s. Most of you. What kind of job will you have if everything is going to be disrupted? 3 solutions we have found in the literature. Something called universal basic income. Everybody gets some money from the government. Number 2, human capital. Everybody goes back to school. Because if what you know is obsolete, the best solution are universities. Great idea. But the question is, are universities innovating enough to having this new knowledge? Let me tell you something. Some universities, I'm not pointing names or anything, but some universities are still teaching knowledge that is obsolete or that will be obsolete in the next 5 years. Sad. Next, working time reduction. I really love this idea. What is the working hours in Colombia? Legally. 48 a week. In Europe, they have 30 hours work weeks. Because it's good, working, in your contracts, you usually sign 45 hours a week. Big fat lie. You work 60. Or I'm a professor, and sometimes I'm at the university 45 hours, but sometimes I work at home, and it's more than 45 hours. But we're not going to discuss economics of that, okay? It's too much. 3 basic ideas, how to solve this technological problem. Universal basic income, human capital, people learning new tricks. Let me tell you something. There's an accountants, accountant, contadores, público, titulado. Maybe I'm going to change the topic now. No, let me tell you, this is not an attack, this is an observation. Accounting is something that could disappear because now we have something called, in Spanish, NIF. Normas Internacionales, Información Financiera. Let me tell you something. That can be done by software. How much do you pay for this software? Well, we're talking about the United States. Relax, come on, don't be touchy-feely. How much is the wage, how much is the salary of an accountant in a regular company? Let's say that an accountant makes 3 million pesos per month. How much do I pay the guy in 1 year? And we have to think about prima and maybe bonus. Let's say 40 million. An accountant costs me 40 million pesos a year. If I buy a software, they can give me the software to do this accounting for $1,000. Yes or no? Possible. Think about it. I think it's almost time to go. It has to go. Yeah, take your phone. Yeah. And this is I'm saying goodbye, really. People, invest in technology. Think about technology. And please, read our paper. This is a paper that we have created with Professor Maria Gabriela, and it's about, you cannot see it, but here says technological unemployment, an approximation to the Latin American case. We have to think in these terms. Technology creates jobs, but destruct jobs. It's a fact, it's happening. I hope, go, have fun, go to class, don't drink and drive. And please read the paper. Thank you very much, this is it. Fall in love with technology. Thank you.